Hey everybody, I am just waiting for both of my phones to go live. So today I wanted to talk about something that's an important topic because food labels are always tricky and they always fool us. So I'm going live on both Instagram and Facebook right now. So you choose which one you want to see. My Instagram is a little bit better camera. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about food labels and how they trick us with food labels. So one of the biggest things that we get tricked with on food labels is the label all natural. So when you hear all natural or when you see it on a food label, food manufacturers know that you're more likely to buy the product because it says all natural on it. But let me tell you, that is a trick and a deception that's used so that you will buy the food product, because just because it's all natural doesn't mean it's healthy. A lot of things that are all natural aren't even healthy at all and can quite actually be dangerous for you depending on the amount you take or how often you take it. I mean, think about it. There's a lot of natural things in this world that are very harmful or poisonous to us. One of the big things that is pretty harmful to us is actually, think about it, you're walking in the woods and you step on some poison ivy. Guess what? Poison ivy is an all-natural occurring substance. It's a plant. It's something that a lot of people enjoy. Nobody enjoys poison ivy. It's something that a lot of people step in when they're in the forest, but it's all natural and it's harmful to you. It can cause a rash, and for people who are more allergic to it, it can cause even worse reactions than that, depending on where you get the poison ivy or where it comes in contact with. And you have to be very careful because it's kind of contagious, because once you have the oil, it spreads. If you touch someone and you have the blisters, it can spread everywhere. And the same goes with a lot of food products. There's a lot of mushrooms out there, not even hallucination mushrooms, but there's a lot of mushrooms out there that can kill you as soon as you have them. Or there's a lot of natural supplements that can be very harmful for you. And I hate that we fall into this trick. So I just wanted to go over a couple of the all-natural things that actually can be pretty harmful for you. And another one of them, it is advertised by the name black cohosh, or I don't know how you say it exactly, but it's called black cohosh, and it's something that a lot of people use in order, I'm talking about all natural foods and how it's not necessarily good for you just because it's all natural. So black cohosh is something that a lot of women use to ease their menopause symptoms and things like that. But it actually can be bad for you because it causes higher blood pressure, it messes with your hormones, and it can mess you up. So you got to be careful when you take these natural supplements. Another thing that's actually deadly is castor oil. Now, the oil itself is not deadly. It's used in a lot of beauty products. It's used mainly female. Even a lot of people use it for their hair, right? But if you eat one bean, it can kill you. The bean that the oil comes from. So imagine like you have a little piece of the bean with the oil or something, and you decide you're going to ingest it. Guess what? You might die from having that. And another common thing, hi Mark. So another common all-natural food substance that a lot of people use is called agave nectar. And agave nectar is something that people substitute for sugar because it's all natural and it's sweeter. Well, the problem is it's sweeter because it has a higher fructose content, and you're more likely to get your high blood sugar. You can suffer more easily from diabetes if you're substituting agave nectar, if you're not very careful, because the fructose content is actually higher, which is why it makes it taste sweeter. And that can be dangerous. And a lot of people ask me, like, if it's not sugar, if honey or all these other different sweeteners, if they use it and it's natural, is it healthier? Well, not necessarily. And you have to really research this. Just because something has health benefits, even honey and all this stuff, it might not necessarily be beneficial. A lot of people can't eat honey because the pollen actually causes issue with their immune system, because honey is technically made from pollen and stuff, and there's always going to be traces of pollen in honey. And so another common all natural occurring substance in the planet is another poisonous plant. And I could go along all day talking about poisonous plants, and one of them is hemlock. And people think hemlock is the thing that killed Socrates, and the whole plant basically is poisonous. So you could put a little hemlock, and it has a couple different names. I actually learned about hemlock when I was doing studying this nature class, because hemlock grows right next to a plant that looks just like it. And there's one plant that looks like it that's actually edible. Hi, Alicia. There's one plant that grows next to it that's actually edible, and it's not poisonous, but hemlock is poisonous. I'm just talking today about how all natural doesn't mean healthy, and how it can be confusing for those who just don't join. Another thing that a lot of people think is healthy that's not necessarily healthy is soy. A lot of soy products, they mess with your hormone and your thyroid levels, so you can't necessarily eat it in high volumes. Actually, I'm Korean, a lot of people eat a lot of like tofu and things like that. And a lot of our farms, like our cows and pigs and things like that, they feed them a lot of soy products. And the problem with that is it messes with your estrogen. If you're a woman, or even if you're a man, it can mess with you. It will mess with your menstrual cycle if you eat too much of it. It will mess with a lot of things. So you don't want to eat too much soy. And I'm kind of afraid to talk about the next one, only because teenagers might be watching, but I don't know how bad it is. I've never done it, but green potatoes. So potatoes are good for you, but if they go to a point where they get bad or they're like too ripe or whatever, green potatoes, or if you don't cook them through, supposedly they can cause hallucinations. I mean, I've eaten green potatoes before just because I don't like wasting food, and green potatoes can cause stomach aches. Yes, a lot of people get stomach aches from it. I've gotten it, but I didn't know they could cause hallucinations. So, like, it's an all-natural food, and it could cause you to have hallucinations, which I have never even heard of, but I have gotten an upset stomach from a green potato. And another healthy product, like people always are talking about nuts, you need more nuts. Brazil nuts, okay? They're good for you, but if you keep eating like the same food product every day, you always got to switch up your food. If you eat too many Brazil nuts, they have something called selenium in it, and the selenium is going to cause you to have hair loss. And if you have too much, you're going to lose your hair, and that's going to be not good. I mean, I have thin enough hair as it is, so I don't want to eat too many Brazil nuts. Everything is balanced, right? Another dangerous thing that's often used as a supplement, or even something that people use in tea a lot, is called licorice root. And people will use it to, like, I can't remember why it's used, but I think for calming your stomach and other things like that. I think I tried actually using it to calm my stomach because I had all these bloating issues before. But if you're eating licorice root or having licorice root tea, it can cause your blood pressure to skyrocket, and it's especially dangerous for people who already have high blood pressure or diabetes or something like that. So, like, all these all-natural things are crazy to me, because people think that just because it's all-natural, it's healthy, and it's not necessarily true. Maybe in a small amount, sure, but some people go overboard. I can't wait for you guys to hear the number one, because it's funny to me. It's really funny. Another one is called belladonna, and that's a common thing that homeopathic practitioners use to solve all types of problems, but it's actually dangerous and not not necessarily safe. The FDA doesn't approve to use it because it can cause problems. And I know most of you have heard this one. It's called St. John's wort, and it can be used for like calming and like anxiety, but it actually can have the exact opposite effect, which is it can cause you to have anxiety. And just like any other anxiety medication, it could either help you or hurt you. So just be careful using the St. John's wort, okay? And the last thing, which I was actually very excited to see this on the list because I hate the taste of this, and I was just like, yes, finally something bad about kale. So the last one is kale, and kale can actually be bad for you, and it's all natural. And kale has been popular for like, I don't know, the last couple years. People have been making kale chips, kale like smoothies, kale everything. And guess what? Kale can actually be bad in large amounts. Like if you're making like handfuls of it and putting it in a smoothie, don't. Just eat the amount you can actually eat. You don't want to overload something with vegetables, or too much of anything is bad for you. And no one ever believes it, but it is. So kale can cause you to have thyroid issues. It can mess with your thyroid hormones and make you either have a faster or slower thyroid. So it's so crazy to me because everybody's like kale is healthy, but some people might not know. And you're trying to do a good thing for yourself. This is why it makes me so mad, because food people label things as all natural to trick you to buy it, and you're really trying to do something good for yourself. But if you eat too much kale, you can mess with your thyroid. And I'm going to tell you something. I recently have been diagnosed. I've been taking a lot of different medications for stuff, but I've been diagnosed with slow thyroid, and I never had a slow thyroid before. Maybe it's because I ate too much kale, but it's not, because I don't eat too much kale because I don't really like it. So I only eat it like a little bit when it's chopped up in a salad with a bunch of other stuff. But so kale can cause you to have thyroid issues. So the point of this message is I just wanted to tell everyone that just because something says it's all natural doesn't mean it's healthy. All natural never means it's healthy. It just means it's naturally occurring. Just like poison ivy, just like mushrooms, just like freaking oxygen, carbon dioxide, whatever. There's a lot of naturally occurring poisonous things for our body, or not so healthy things for our body. Freaking fat, or like there's all these things that are natural that aren't good for you. So just because it says all natural, like sugar is all natural if you get it from a sugar cane, but you don't want to eat tons of it. So life is all about balance. Just because something is freaking healthy for you doesn't mean that you can eat it in large amounts. Just because it's all natural doesn't mean you could eat it in large amounts. Alright? So thank you for watching. I hope this was educational for you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!